Another episode of Mr. Fincham's Fireside Follow-Alongs, and today we're going to be continuing on with Explorers of North America. So, where we left off, we had just completed Chapter 5, and so now we're going to move into Chapter 6, but before we do that, we are going to review the questions for today's readings. Again, these are going to be under the ELA Questions and Tasks section of your newsletter. There are some kind of difficult names here for me, so forgive me if I mess up on them. You'll just have to roll with the punches. So, reading and writing task. Here's the first question. What did explorer and botanist Ynes Mexia do when she and her team were trapped in the gorge in Peru for 3 months? How did Mexia's explorations have how might have Mexia's explorations have altered her views of the world? So, Ynes Mexia, she is a botanist and an explorer. You guys know what an explorer is. She is also a botanist, which means she studies plants, right? Her and her team get trapped in a gorge in Peru for 3 months. This changed her view of the world. It changed the way she saw the world. How? That's the question, okay? And the next one, the text to self connection. On page 41, it says that Ynes Mexia discovered 500 new plant species. Imagine you are exploring some exotic area and you discover a new plant that no one else has seen before. What does this plant look like? What is it called? What can it be used for? Food, medicine, etc.? Draw an image of your newly discovered plant, name it, and give some details about it. Get creative. So, in the previous reading, the text to self-connection was kind of the same thing except with an animal. You discover a new animal, right? What does it look like? What does it eat? How does it behave? This text to self-connection is the same thing except in plant form. Create a plant. Get creative with it. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. And the extension. Barbara Wasburn was the first woman to climb Mount McKinley, the tallest mountain in North America. Research another woman explorer that was the first to do something. What was she the first to do? So this lady, Miss Wasburn, was the first the first woman to ever climb Mount McKinley. Research another woman explorer that was the first to do something, and tell me about her. Okay? So those are the questions for today's reading. And without wasting any more time, we're going to jump right into Chapter 6, Modern Explorers. Check out this fact. Less than 5% of the ocean has been explored. Notice the typo. It says has been explored. That is a typo. It's supposed to be 2 N's. Okay? I've noticed a few, and I'm sure that you guys have as well, a few typos in this book, but we're going to power on. So, less than 5%. 95% of the ocean is unexplored? That seems crazy to me. All right. First paragraph. Lewis and Clark made their historic trip more than 200 years ago. Since then, people have continued to explore the world. Men and women have climbed tall mountains. They have cut their way through rainforests. Some explorers have even gone to space. Caption for the picture. Notice the mountain here. Lewis and Clark traveled within 50 miles, or 80 kilometers, of what is now Glacier National Park in Montana. Now we're going to go to page 40. Let's look at the caption here first before we read the paragraph. So, notice they have some dogs. Barbara Washburn. Oh, it's spelled differently. I guess we have a typo on the letter as well, under the extension. Barbara Washburn and her husband climbed Mount Bertha during their honeymoon. First paragraph. Most of the explorers you've read about have been men, but there are many famous female explorers too. In 1940, Barbara Wasburn climbed to the top of Alaska's Mount Bertha. She and her climbing partner, her husband, were the first people to ever climb the mountain. And in 1947, Barbara became the first woman to climb to the top of Mount McKinley, the tallest mountain in North America. So again, here, notice her last name, Wasburn, Washburn. Another typo, guys. We're going to go to page 41. Exploring plants. Oh, see, I did mispronounce her name. It says right here, Ynes Mexia, not Mexia, Mexia. Ynes Mexia. So forgive me for that. One explorer risked her life to study plants. In 1927, Ynes Mexia became a botanist, or a plant scientist. Mexia collected about 145,000 plant samples in her lifetime. She discovered as many as 500 new plant species. Mexia traveled in South America, Central America, and Alaska. One time, she and her team were trapped at the bottom of a deep gorge in Peru for 3 months. Did Mexia panic? No, she was a true explorer. She spent the time searching the sides of the gorge for new plants. Ynes Mexia started studying plants in college at the age of 51. She went on her first plant collecting trip to Mexico at the age of 55. So, plants, we learned about photosynthesis, how they're important, right? How we need them to survive, for our crops, to clean the air, right? Because they pull in carbon dioxide and they let off oxygen, right? They also provide us with food to eat. They also provide us with medicine. So plants are super important. Now we're going to go to page 42. New discoveries. When you go exploring, you never know what you will find. Many explorers go looking for one thing. They find something completely different. Christopher Columbus was looking for a sea route. He found a continent instead. Today's explorers search the oceans, outer space, and even parts of the human body. Explorers discover things that excite them. Their discoveries inspire other people to explore. That's what being an explorer is all about. So let's read the caption here. The Amazon rainforest remains largely unexplored. Thousands of animal and plant species are waiting to be discovered. So normally when we think about exploring, we're thinking about, okay, I'm going to go explore this mountain or this cave or this part of the ocean, right? But exploring just means going or investigating to a place or a thing that has never been done before, right? So there's parts of the human body that we don't know a whole lot about, like the brain. It's so complicated that scientists still struggle to grasp exactly how it works, right? And especially space. I mean, you think that only 5% of the ocean being discovered is crazy? I mean, we've basically discovered nothing of the universe in terms of how big it is and how much we can actually see. I mean, it's crazy to think about how big the universe is. Now we're going to go on to page 43. True statistics. The first European to find the Americas? Leif Erikson, in about the year 1000. Explorer whom America is named after? Amerigo Vespucci. 3 explorers who searched for a city of gold? Hernan Cortez, Francisco Coronado, and Jacques Cartier. Cortez found Aztec people and gold. Coronado found the Zuni people. Cartier found Iroquois people, fool's gold, and quartz. Distance Lewis and Clark traveled? 8,000 miles or 12,875 kilometers. The cost of supplies for Lewis and Clark's 2-year journey? $2,500. So here's a little true or false question. Did you find the truth? Christopher Columbus was the first European to set foot in America. Spanish explorers searched for a city of gold. So there's a true and false for you. That is going to be it for today. Before we sign off, I will reread the questions that go along with today's readings. The reading and writing task. What did explorer and botanist Ynes Mexia do when she and her team were trapped in a gorge in Peru for 3 months? How might Mexia's explorations have altered her views of the world? Altered just means changed. The text-to-self connection. On page 41, it says that Ynes Mexia discovered 500 new plant species. Imagine you are exploring some exotic area and you discover a new plant no one has ever seen before. What does this plant look like? What is it called? What can it be used for? Food, medicine, etc. Draw an image of your newly discovered plant, name it, and give some details about it. Get creative. And the extension. Barbara Wasburn was the first woman to climb Mount McKinley, the tallest mountain in North America. Research another woman explorer that was the first to do something. What was she the first to do? Well, guys, we only have a few more of these until the year's end. I know it hasn't been an ideal year, but I sincerely and deeply appreciate those of you who have continued working and finishing the year strong and following along with me and continuing to learn during these odd times. I appreciate you guys. So that's it for me for tonight. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.